Hey, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video, I wanted to speak on the topic of milk production. I can give you a little bit of a backstory with my situation. If you saw my previous video, I spoke on the fact that I had a C-section, emergency C-section, when I delivered my son. It wasn't planned or anything like this. It was something that needed to be done. And following on from there, I went home with the baby after a couple of days in the hospital so that they could monitor me because I had other underlying medical issues during my pregnancy, and they needed to monitor me and make sure that I was okay, make sure that the baby was okay, and also just to keep an eye. This is how they do in Belgium, which is where I live now, and have lived here for about 2 years. No, 3 years. 3 years. If you hear any sounds, it's just my baby. He's on the baby monitor. I've got the baby monitor near me. So if you hear anything, it's just my son who's asleep. He's moving around in his sleep. Anyway, so I was saying that, I'm in Belgium right now. This is where I live. I've lived here for 3 years. And in Belgium, after your pregnancy, after you deliver, they keep you in hospital for about 2 nights just to keep an eye on you, make sure you're okay, to kind of help you with the baby. If you don't know what you're doing with the baby in terms of how to wash them, how to feed them, like you get all of the support before you're taken home. And even when you do go home, there's a lot of aftercare following on from there. So you'll have somebody come to your home once or twice a week, and they just watch you weigh the baby, make sure the baby's okay, ask you any questions that you may have, and just check the baby over. And that goes on for about, I think it was like 2 weeks, which was amazing. It was just nice to have somebody there to just check the baby, check on me, and especially because I had the C-section. And yeah, you have that support for about 2 weeks post delivery at home, so they come to your home. So anyway, back to breastfeeding and the production of milk. When I was in the hospital after delivering, I had no supply of milk. There was no milk whatsoever coming out, and had always had the intention of breastfeeding my children. Not that I'm saying that bottle feeding is wrong, but personally for me, I've always said that I would breastfeed because I feel, for me, that it was the best option for my child. However, when I delivered, there was no milk, there was nothing, and I think it was due to my body catching up with what had happened because everything had happened so suddenly. I think my body wasn't aware that the baby was born, the baby was out, and therefore there was no supply. There was, I guess, no chemical signal to my brain, or I don't know exactly what happened, but it took some time. I think it was up to 3 or 4 days maximum, when I started to get milk. And the way that I was able to, I guess, let my body know that the baby was born and I needed to produce milk, was that I was just latching him. Even though there was no milk, I was latching him. Now that doesn't mean I was latching him when he was hungry, technically, because I would bottle feed him so he would be full, he wouldn't be hungry. However, I would just carry him and allow him to latch. And sometimes I would carry him with just skin to skin contact, just so that my body is stimulated to produce this milk. And I did that. It was actually a very difficult time because the baby was just not happy with bottled milk, with formula. He just was not taking to it well. He was suffering with stomach ache. He wasn't able to sleep. He was crying so much, and the nurse had actually told me that tends to happen. And it was so heart-wrenching to give your child this bottle which was causing him pain, but you had no other option, you had no other choice. That's all you had to give him, knowing that in the end it was actually causing him a lot of pain, and he was crying, screaming in pain because his body was just not taking to it well. So that was a very stressful time. And I just remembered I had to make sure that I did not allow stress to get the better of me, because that also could stop your milk production because you're stressed. So I had to make sure I was relaxed and create a relaxed environment for the baby. So as I said, skin to skin contact, just allow him to lay on me even though he's not latching, but he's just laying on me, and just so that we can both just calm down, and so that I could produce the milk. And as I said, sometimes I'll let him latch even though there was no milk, just allow him to latch so that he can stimulate milk production. And the thing is, even though I did that, he wasn't too keen on latching for some reason. He just didn't want to. He was disgusted, it seemed like, with me, and it was very difficult. And my partner, my now fiance, is the one who came with the technique of putting some of the formula on my nipple so that he would smell that formula milk and he would taste it on my nipple and then latch. So if he wasn't for that, he would not latch, because he was just, I don't know, he didn't like the smell of it, or he didn't like the I don't know what it was, but he just wouldn't refuse to latch at the beginning until we came up with that, which was to put a little bit of milk on my nipples. He smelled that, he tasted that, and he was latching on that. And as he's pulling, that started to stimulate milk. It wasn't straight away, but just keep on going and keep trying and trying. And also pumping as well eventually helped me to produce milk. And at the beginning, obviously the supply was slow. It was slow. I didn't have an abundance right away. However, there were some things that did help me to produce a huge amount of milk supply. I was able to breastfeed my son all the way up until 1 year old. I didn't run out of supply. I could have kept going and I still had supply, even too much, to the point where I was advised no longer to pump because I just had too much, and the baby wasn't able to keep up with the amount that I had, especially because near the end he was also having solids as he grew. He was also having solids as well as breast milk, so he was very full, and I was still producing a large amount of breast milk. So if you'd like to know what I did in order to produce a lot, well, for my body to produce a lot of breast milk, I will tell you now. So I think first of all, for me, the thing that I think just made my milk come out so much more was simply just drinking a lot of water. Like, I was drinking so much water, like constantly. And it wasn't because I wanted to produce the milk, but I was just so thirsty all the time. I think breastfeeding is a thirsty job anyway. I think it just takes from you constantly, so you just feel dehydrated constantly. So it was also born in May, so it was kind of like when it started to get warmer and your hormones are causing, wreaking havoc on you already. You're already have quite a high temperature, plus the weather, plus you're carrying a baby constantly, so you have that body contact, plus he's latching on you. All of these things are happening and you just feel hot all the time, so you're constantly drinking water. And because I was drinking so much water, I was producing so much milk. That really helped me to produce a lot of milk, drinking so much water. I think up to 2 liters of water a day I was drinking water, and it wasn't like I wanted Coke or a soft drink or anything. No, I was craving water, and that also helped me to produce a lot of milk, a lot. The other thing that helped me to produce milk was to sleep. Like, I would take naps whenever I could at the beginning. Whenever the baby slept, I slept. Whenever the baby slept, I slept. I know it's not always easy to do because you think, oh my gosh, I need to clean the house, I need to cook, I need to do this, that, and the other. I need to shower. I really just didn't put too much pressure on myself because I knew what I had gone through, and I knew that my body needed grace, it needed understanding from me, it needed mercy from me. So I didn't put too much on myself. I allowed myself to rest, because yeah, pregnancy is a lot. So sleeping, napping whenever I could, whenever I would sleep, and I would wake up and I would be super engorged. I was so full that I had to feed the baby right away, right there, right then. I would take the baby and I would feed him, or I would pump to get rid of it, because I was just producing so much. I was so massive that, yeah, to the point where at times it became painful. So that was the other thing. So as I said, water and sleep. Third thing is stress. It's about the mind. You have to allow yourself to relax. I know that it's very stressful having a new baby. You don't really know what you're doing. There's a lot to do, and maybe you feel like you're not getting the support that you need. You're overtired. I think it's very important to communicate what it is you're going through with maybe your fiance, your partner, family, friends, whoever can help you. If you do get offered help, it's important for you to take that help, just to take some load off of you, so that you don't get the stress. Because when you feel stress, it may, I think in some cases, affect your supply of milk. So you have to really allow yourself not to be stressed. So if that means going for a walk, a short walk, do it. Having a long bath, do it. Reading a book, going out for some air, just having time for yourself to de-stress is so important, so that you can just allow your mind to rest. I think that milk supply has a lot to do also with the mind. It's all interconnected, so you have to really relax, and that's what I did. I made sure to relax. I didn't do, as I mentioned, housework that needed to be done. I left it for another day. It will sit there. It's fine. I will come to it when I can. Make sure I did what was essential, and all the other things could wait. So just not to allow myself to feel like I've got so much to do. Oh my gosh, I've got so much to do. No. Make sure you're eating really, really well. So having a balanced diet. Make sure you're getting your veggies in, meat in if you eat meat. Just really making sure that you're eating and you're filling your body up with everything that it needs. Because you are breastfeeding, you are, as I said, being consumed literally. So you need to kind of keep your energy up, keep your body fueled, keep your body strong, eat. And that also helped with your milk supply. When you're fed, you produce more. So those are what I did, and that really helped me to produce so much milk, that to the point where I even was sick, because I was producing so much, and the baby wasn't consuming the amount that I did. I mean, he would have one boob and the other boob is engorged. I mean, what do I do? So it was just, I even had mastitis, I think it's called, where you have like a clot, and I tell you, that is so painful. You feel literally like you're gonna faint. It's so painful. It's like having a fever all at once. It's insane. And I had that experience, and yeah, so I had to eventually, through time, begin to allow my body to cut back on the supply. And I did that by not pumping, that's for sure. What did I do? Oh my gosh. I did that by just oh my gosh, what did I do? Oh my gosh, my mind, when you have like a mind freeze or a mind blank, it's just kind of left your mind. I stopped pumping for sure, as I said. And I mean, I think it just happened naturally. The less that Alessia was feeding, the less I was producing, because obviously your body produces its demand. So if your child is consuming a lot, your body remembers this and then produces more and more and more. And because Alessia was not demanding as much, and I wasn't giving him as much, and I wasn't pumping, and I was just massaging my boobs just to make sure that it had no clots. Over time, slowly, my body would produce less and less and less naturally. It's really amazing. I find it so fascinating the way that your body is so connected to your child. It's an amazing thing. I think motherhood has really taught me just how beautiful the whole experience is, and how it's amazing. It's like your body is literally an instrument designed for the baby in that time. Like, it's really just theirs. Firstly, it's their home, it's their food, it's their shelter. Like, it's just an amazing thing. And yeah, I just reduced the amount that I was feeding him, and my body kind of registered that the child doesn't need it anymore. And as I said, I wasn't pumping, so I wasn't stimulating any supply. And yeah, gradually it reduced. And then he started breastfeeding. I think it was 4 times a day, and then it went less and less and less, until the point where when he reached 1 and he had teeth and he started biting, and I said, okay, we're good. I think we stop here, because I don't want to have sore nipples. This is not working. He's too young to really truly understand when I say no, don't do that. So I just said, you know what, he's old enough in my eyes that he can move on to regular milk and, beyond food. So I just stopped him, literally cold turkey. I made a decision. Today is the day he stops. It was challenging for him. There were a few things that I did that helped him to eventually forget the boob. I will put that on another video, because otherwise this video is going to be too long. So I'll have a video up next time to tell you what I did in order to wean him off the boob and onto bottle. And yeah, so I hope you found this video informative, helpful, or just interesting. If you have any questions, you can definitely write them down below, and I will be reading them and commenting back to you, answering your questions. And if you would like to subscribe for more from me, definitely do hit the notification bell so you're informed of my next video. And I hope to see you on my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.